Alright, so today I just want to talk about starching again. If I just did something quite new. I may pause and interrupt for what has been updated lately, and thus one has to go to the bathroom often. So what I did was, for the first time I tried a new starching recipe, a new starching recipe, which is an invention really of my own, of mixing 3 different recipes, 3 historically accurate recipes, historically accurate for at least 1898, which was the year Borax, which would be the most modern ingredient used, was invented. So again, I have done it really got me to starching myself once I saw Antique Menswear, the channel by Haven White, Antique Menswear video on starching the traditional, starching colors, the traditional method. Now, I have not starched a removable color, but a tunic shirt instead. So a shirt meant to take a detachable color, which is that one. It is a modern shirt, but I've already shown it. I've worn it so much that actually it fell apart once I link it. The fabric is too used, but the result is very appreciated. So there, all of that began with these old photographs from back in the late 19th century, and often their bosom here, except normally at least for upper classes this would actually be sewn onto the shirt, was remarkably shiny, and it looked as if it had been iced, literally shiny like silk, quite like those silk top hats, silk plush antique top hats, whence they are polished with tallow, as can be professionally done, giving a sort of iced impression, or like a mirror shine, as if the shed bosom was mirror shiny. And Halloran talks about the French doing it with wax. They used to do it with wax, which is quite true. Some people, not only the French, used to do it with wax, but the French were known for doing most of their shirts, I guess, collars and bosoms and all with wax. But the point there was I was about to purchase white beeswax on Amazon, white pellets of beeswax, natural beeswax. And then one realized that one is vegan. So I do compromise to the shoe polish. For shoe polish, which contains beeswax, one only polishes one shoes every now and then, and so it will last for years and years and years. But surely, for starching the shirts, it will not last, a small packet will not last half as long, and so one will be consuming and consuming and consuming wax, and also is made out from bees. I mean, bees make wax, not that it is actually made out from the bees themselves, but one understands that. And as for there must be other ways, and upon a manual. So I copy-pasted that onto a document. Now I will give the precise name of what is that. So this is a book, a household manual found, and it must date from the it is a huge household manual written by hand, step by step, like a diary. It was found, a family diary found by a woman called Shirley in the United States of America. And Shirley, she takes the time to type it onto her blog. She has not fully typed it yet, but she fully typed the laundry section, I guess, or at least the ironing and starching sections. And so that is a back in the day household manual diary, as made by the experience of a woman, like a family woman, like an upper class or upper middle class housewives' methods and experiences upon anything really, from how to tidy up a bed to how to starch a shed and so on. So it is very a unique piece of history. And in it they explain the Chinese technique. The Chinese technique of ironing, but also all the methods. I'm just getting it there to give the title of what it is exactly. Because the Chinese were well known for ironing. They used to learn the shirts, they used to be employed as that because they were one of the first civilizations to actually iron garments and or do proper laundry. And so obviously back in the 19th century there were many Chinese laundries, and she writes down the Chinese way, or apparently what she calls to be at least one of the Chinese way. It is called the Chinese method of starching. So I used two methods from that manual, plus Helen White's method, which is very similar, which he must have read perhaps why the same book, even he said he spent hours and hours researching, probably more than I. So then he has helped me, and in turn I have also helped myself by researching, although not for hours and hours. So this is called Excerpts from 3 Meals a Day. The book is called 3 Meals a Day. Starching. So she explains different methods, and it is not very clear because really she was writing that for the family woman. It is not like a proper book like Mrs. Beeton's household management book. So these are more sort of notes at times almost. They almost have spelling errors at times, I guess, but I think surely the woman descendant who is typing it corrected them. Now these all date, the starching method, it's all from the 1880s, 90s. They do not talk about bollocks, so it could be earlier. I forgot how she knew it was from the 1880s or 90s max, but she just knows. So I use two different methods. Because actually she gives many methods. She gives 3 different methods. She gives starching. First, there's this tiny paragraph called starch polish for shirt bosoms, collars and cuffs. One spermaceti, which is the sperm whale cell. So the sperm cell from a whale. So obviously I'm vegan, so I did not use that. 1 white wax. Melt together and mold in thin cakes. Drop into the starch a piece the size of $1. So she probably means, I don't know, like those big old school dollars. I'm not sure what she means by $1. And then there's another paragraph called starch gloss. So I'm not sure if she makes a difference between starch gloss and polish, because I mean, this shirt bosom, which has the original French starch from back in the day, it is very shiny. You can't really share that. I do not know. I mean, one would call it a gloss and somebody else might call it a polish. I mean, it's not very clear. Put in boiling starch to 1 quart, 1 desert spoonful of white sugar, and half a teaspoon of butter. This stiffens the articles and gives a glossy finish. Mutton tallow, again not vegan, butter is not vegan either, or very pure lard, even less vegan, may be used in place of the butter. Starch will not polish unless there is something added to it. A small teaspoonful of kerosene stirred into a quart of starch after removing it from the stove is used by many, or little dissolved gum arabic is useful to be added to a quart of boiled starch made in the useful manner. Gives a beautiful luster up to the clothes and prevents the iron sticking. Now, do what you want if you want to blow yourselves up. But people use kerosene or gasoline or turpentine back in the day to make things smoother in the starch and to then have the articles be smoother and shinier, but it is extremely dangerous. Kerosene is the most dangerous. Gasoline is almost as dangerous, and turpentine is also very dangerous, although not quite as much. I wanted to do it, and the chap from Ace Hardware told me that he became more pale and told me that when one pours a little bit of turpentine, and this is not gasoline, kerosene, so there's less worth, into a hot bath of starch like tea, and that all manual and all manual cylinder speaking advice to, there's half a chance of it all blowing up in my face and my being disfigured for life and brain damaged or dead. So do not use that technique. He talked about that, Helen,
but from Antic Man as well, but he no longer does it because it's